Honorable Minister, Honorable Minister of Education, I saw him in the corridors. Honorable Muyingo, we are waiting for you. Can you move a motion? Can you move a motion to the effect?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled
Honorable Bua, can I have people in? Commissioners, can I have people in?
Right, Honorable Speaker,
Yes, please go ahead.
I beg to move that the bill entitled the Higher Education Students Financing Amendment Bill 2024 be read the second time. I beg to move.
Seconded? Is the motion seconded? Seconded by Chairman of Education, Government Chief Whip, Shadow Minister of Education, Kelly, Dorcas, Anifa, Mbwa, Connie, Emmanuel, Honorable Alanyo, Professor Sanoni Abeja, and Phyllis, Akielo, Okwiri, Tony, by the whole house. Would you love to speak to your motion? Please speak to it. What are the objects?
Right, Honorable Speaker. The purpose of amending the Highest Education Student Financing Act 2024 is to mainstream Act 2 of 2014 is to mainstream the function of the Higher Education Student Financing Board that was established under the Act into the ministry responsible for education. The amendment abolishes the Higher Education Student Financing Board and transfers the function of the board to the ministry responsible for education for effective management. Right, Honorable Speaker, all the staff, the entire staff of the Higher Education Student Financing will be transferred with their roles and duties all under the Ministry of Education for effective management. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can we hear a brief from the chair?
Madam Speaker and honorable members, I beg to present a report on the Committee on Education and Sports on the Higher Education Student Financing Amendment Bill 2024. Madam Speaker, I beg that I skip introduction and principles and defects in the law. Briefly, Madam Speaker, the object of this bill it has been also given, but methodology of the Republic of Uganda, 1995, has amended the Higher Education Students Financing Act 2014, written memoranda from the Higher Education Student Financing Board. Madam Speaker, for the benefit of all the members, allow me briefly give a background of the Education Student Financing Board. The Education Student Financing Board is a scheme meant for Ugandans seeking financial assistance to pursue a program of higher education in an accredited higher education institute or university by National Council for Education. The loan scheme covers tuition fees, functional fees, research expenses, aids, and appliances for persons with disabilities. The loan beneficiary covers the component of accommodation and other requirements. Madam Speaker and honorable members, it's very important to note that Higher Education Student Finance Board currently support programs under science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in line with NDP 3 requirement that has placed emphasis on supporting science programs that are critical to national development. Persons with disabilities are eligible to pursue either science or humanities programs. In the written memoranda received from the Educational Student Financing Board, it was stated that currently out of about 130,000 to 140,000 candidates that qualify for higher education annually, government sponsors 10,000 out of the above number under the government sponsorship scheme. That's direct entrance, totaling only 7% of the eligible candidates. The rest of the 93% are meant to be privately sponsored, and only a fraction makes it to higher education institutions. C, government spends 120 billion on the 10,000 government-sponsored students, with an average government-sponsored student at a university budgeted at 18 million shillings per annum as one-off payment. The students' loan scheme employs the costing model where government spends an average of 4.5 million per student on beneficiaries' academic costs as students cater for their welfare costs. E, Madam Speaker, with a budget of approximately 4.5 billion for the new cohort, the students' loan scheme pays for at least 1,000 beneficiaries. With Uganda shillings 45 billion, the scheme could cater for 10,000 students. With the current budget, 120 billion, the scheme could support up to 40,000 students, which would translate to 30% of eligible candidates to higher education. Observation and justification of the committee. With the reference to submission from the Higher Education Student Financing Board, the committee observed that mainstreaming the board under the ministry would not cure the existing structural and operational issues associated with the delivery of services. Instead, the mainstreaming of the board will lead to delayed decision-making, disbursing of loans, and loan recovery. B, the committee observed that the management of students' loan scheme requires managing a revolving fund channeled back to borrower to make the schemes. Envisages that it will be self-sustaining as actively managed and supported by the government. The committee that the bill states some of the defects in the existing law that the bill intends to cure, including establishment of certain number of agencies, institutional harmony, affordability. The committee observed that one aspect applies to Higher Education Student Financing Act 2015. D, the committee notes that world over, most student financing models have established a specialized institution for the management of students' loan. The nature of managing such schemes in Africa, there are over 13 countries that are managing students' loan schemes under the same autonomous bodies, having moved away from the management of such schemes under the parent ministries, including Tanzania, Kenya, Rwanda, Ghana, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Malawi, Zambia, Lesotho, Namibia, Swaziland, Botswana, and South Africa. E, the committee observed that, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, that the certificate of financial application envisages the saving of 0.352 billion in financial year 2024-2025 and Uganda shillings 1.632 billion in medium term, against 1.636 billion that will be earned from income for loan recoveries and interest and protection fees expected to grow in the medium term. However, the certificate of financial implication is silent on the areas amounting to Uganda shillings 14.6 billion, which has not been raised by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development as passed in Supplementary Schedule 1, Financial Year 2023-24. On recommendations, Madam Speaker and honorable members, the committee recommends that Higher Education Student Financing Board be maintained as a semi-autonomous body with a view of granting it a vote status in the medium term for it to effectively discharge its mandate. Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development fully funds Higher Education Student Finance Board in order for it to become self-sustaining and support more students to access higher education. Madam Speaker, the Committee on Education and Sports, in conclusion, recommend that the Higher Education Student Financing Board be maintained as a simultaneous body, and in this case, the committee feels that the bill is not passed. Madam Speaker, and right honorable members, I beg to move. You allow me, Madam Speaker, while we are processing this, one of the members dissented from the views of the other.
I also want you, we've been having a harmonization meeting. You as the chair also report what we agreed in the harmonization meeting. We're still on the floor. Hold your call.
Madam Speaker, what I presented is the position of the committee.
Yes.
I'm aware that there was a harmonization meeting between the Minister of Education and the team as well in the House, in your presence, Madam Speaker.
Me, I was having lunch.
But yes, while Madam Speaker was having lunch, I was
not part of it.
I was with the government chief whip and the honorable minister. The position was, my honorable members, let me bring out what
honorable members, listen.
Yeah, the position is what, whereas what is coming out of the committee is not to rationalize the board, to take the board, the scheme back into the ministry, that proposals can be considered whereby probably this money could be distributed to district quotas so that students can be admitted on district quotas. Madam Speaker, that's what I
access to higher education be accessible to all in your constituencies. And because of that, this body which has been dealing with this particular matter needs to be examined so that we can make decisions from an informed point of view. I have a minority report arising from my dissent from the majority on grounds that they want this body maintained. And I think government is right on rationalization, and we must rationalize this body.
Yes.
And my grounds are that the expenditure on this body is very wasteful. We are spending money on the NSSF taxes.
They call it a nugatory expenditure.
Yeah, so we are paying allowances for the board, which money we could have used to actually pay people in your constituencies. And you must be very careful when you are about to make that decision. Because if some of your poor people will go without higher education, we must be able to know that you are behind it. So there's wasteful expenditure you should be able to deal with.
Honorable Lee, continue.
Madam Speaker, secondly,
It's reading in the report.
yeah, so there has not been equity in the way this scheme operates. If I ask,
Honorable Lee, the current law brought a report to this house, and he was quoting 4 or 5 people coming from Bukedea, whose names were from another region. There is no equity because those people did not benefit from Bukedea.
so Madam Speaker, thank you for that useful information. So today is an opportunity for us to balance the boat. If we can quote Honorable Cecilia, let Cecilia Ogoel,
Thank you.
must be able to balance the boat and ensure this money actually serves people in our areas. If we are to produce scientists, some scientists must not only come from Kampala or from a particular region, scientists must emerge from across the country. Only then can we have a balanced development. So to align this scheme,
No, I told him. I told him to summarize.
a lot of exactly.
No, I told him to summarize.
I'm making a summary
I
so
told
that
him
you
to
can
summarize.
understand. You pick the main points. So on the basis of equity and affirmative action, which is enshrined in our constitution, we must be able to make this scheme work for our country. And that
Thank
requires
you.
nationalized. Madam Speaker, lastly, because I need to bring out the
Honorable member, stop saying the man is a
Speaker,
machinery.
Madam Speaker,
The man is
the scheme as run by the board now enfranchises a number of communities without access to electricity and internet connectivity, because the board requires that you apply online and they have their systems and the many.
Honorable members, this scheme you must apply online and it's very correct.
Exactly. So the infrastructure to achieve all this is largely missing in many parts where we come from. And because of that, we are missing out on benefiting. We are missing out on benefiting from the scheme under the current arrangement. So, Madam Speaker, I therefore propose. I propose that there must be rationalization.
Yes.
Two, the resources which have been under the management of this board must be channeled to the district quota system where all of us will benefit. Only then will you guarantee benefit for your children if you buy into my proposal. Madam Speaker, under the current system, under the current district quota system, it is the local governments that identify and select the beneficiaries. And working with the ministry, I'm very sure we would be able to.
Honorable members, order in the house. Honorable members, can we have some order? Can we have order?
So my proposal is that we must charge local governments working with the ministries to identify beneficiaries. And the local governments are already doing this in managing a number of programs for government. We have the Women Entrepreneurs Fund, the Youth Livelihood. They have been involved in recovery, so they have an experience. At least that will guarantee that we all benefit from this scheme. And that is a matter, Madam Speaker, which requires attention. I also believe if we adopt my proposal, we will be able to make government visible. For those of you who are in NRM, you want to make your government look like it is working. And because of that, we want to be able to see the children benefiting. I want to know in my village who has benefited from this scheme. And we cannot reserve this body which is centrally, and even, Madam Speaker, in recovering this loan, a body which is in the center here, how will they go recover money from my village? It is easier for the district people for us to work locally there to recover this money than centralizing a body here for recovery purposes. Therefore, I move the House in view of the liabilities, arrears, which government has not even paid, amounting to 14.6 billion, which points to the fact that we don't have enough money. The money we have must be able to go into achieving objectives of this scheme. And that requires we rationalize this body. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House adopts my minority report and we rationalize the body. Thank you.
Honorable members, it is a procedural matter from Honorable Shaggy. Honorable Shaggy, you can. He's also on procedure. Chair, you go and stand and talk from there.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. We are here in the House deliberating for rationalization, which reasons we already got to avoid duplication, to avoid wastage of resources. Now, when we talk of the scheme, we're already crying. The scheme is supposed to be an equalizer. There are people who are taking their children to very powerful schools, which charge a lot of money. And those ones pass highly and qualify for government sponsorship. Now, those who take children where they charge little fees.
Like Amos College.
Amos College, yes, like Amos College, end up not getting high points to qualify for government sponsorship. Therefore, the rich end up taking to the powerful, very expensive schools where they charge 4 million per term. At the end of the day, they perform highly and go to university under government sponsorship. Now, the poor who take to schools where they pay 300,000, 900,000, much as they are very capable, are not prepared to pass as high as the other ones. Now, at the end of the day, they are the ones who are supposed to go on private sponsorship. And yet the rich have gone on government sponsorship. So you find we are not balancing the board. It would have even been the other way around. So we allocate very little money for the loan scheme. On top of that, most of the money is spent for management, administration, for these people in the air-conditioned offices and driving vehicles, which can be done by others. Therefore, it's a procedural matter. Now, since you don't want a procedural matter, can I now thank the people who authored in a minority report for having been very patriotic. You could have even added there that we even remove the money which is sponsoring some as government sponsorship and add it to the scheme. So that if you are rich, you go and pay fees at university, you have the money. So that one who's poor goes and borrows the money to go to the university. I salute you, the minorities. I beg to move. But I conclude by saying, Right Honorable and colleagues, if we can't rationalize this one, then we don't need to rationalize the institution. This should be the first to be rationalized. I beg to move.
It is a procedural matter.
Madam Speaker, I seek for your indulgence. First of all, let me make records clear. Maracha district has 54 students on loan scheme. Secondly, Madam Speaker, when we passed this act as Parliament, the challenges were not on the bill or the act. It is on government's commitment. First of all, the act states that beneficiaries, those who go for these loan schemes, there can be those for arts, subjects, humanities, and sciences. But because the government never had the money, they opted for only scientists. They took them. Secondly, Madam Speaker, when you talk about this loan scheme, we also look at our neighboring countries. Whenever you talk about costs and expenses, it will be the same in the ministry. And I want to seek for indulgence, Madam Speaker. Can the chair of the committee negotiate on behalf of the members who passed the report? It cannot happen. Because we sat as a committee, we have been moving with this issue of the loan scheme up to the time when we sat as a committee and agreed. And indeed, the honor member for the minority report, I'm the one who invited him to cite in the report. Madam Speaker, I seek for indulgence, honorable members. The loan scheme, its interests and intentions, we, as a law we passed, was asking all sponsorship of government. Madam Speaker, Madam, now I'm on procedure, honorable members. And the speaker has allowed me. Madam Speaker.
Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Omusomesa. Mukatuleke. Mukatuleke. All your issues were covered in the report as a member of the committee. Yes, Jonathan.
Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Oguzuli has ably persuaded me. Now, given the current scheme as it is, it benefits only the children of the rich as opposed to the poor. Because they ask you to apply, you have to apply on net, and then the children who pass very well in the primary schools, they go to the best schools in the country, and then those are the ones who are considered to get this loan. Therefore, the children who are from Arapa in Soroti, who are from Agora in Soroti, very few of them benefit from this scheme. Therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, if we are talking about equity, I would rather request that we give more funding to this scheme and then take it back to its quota system so that all the children benefit from wherever they are in the villages. Finally, we want to request the committee that you lay on table here in Parliament the beneficiaries, the children who have benefited from this district by district. You tell me in Soroti district how many have benefited. From Maracha district how many have benefited. Otherwise, the current system only benefits the children of the rich. I am here to support the minority report. Thank you very much.
Francis. Then Rose.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, listening to the proposals by Honorable Guzli, I realize that his proposal is pro-poor, pro-people, more effective, and more transparent. Because, Right Honorable Speaker, some of us don't even know how this scheme has been operating. People come to you and ask you, we want to be part of this quota. And you look for it, you don't get it. Their own scheme, a member of parliament cannot trace it. You know, local districts. So I want to suggest that we go by this approach because it is more transparent and effective. I want to thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank my brother Lee and all of you.
Honorable Guzli.
Honorable Oguzuli. Today, you have joined me to swim in the waters of the rural people. We are so happy because this scheme, a district like Tego, without computers, without electricity, honestly, you are to apply online, Right Honorable Speaker, and you pay 50,000. If you are saying it's a scheme to help the vulnerable, again, you're asking for 50,000 for what? And after applying, you don't even get a response. You go to apply in a computer center and you go back home. You don't know what happens. Shortlists are done without your name. I beg we go by the quota system so that my rural team are able to get a share in Terego. Thank you so much.
There is a motion. Motion. Motion by Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members,
I have carefully, yes, Honorable.
honorable members, listen to Chair Finance.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Having carefully listened to the mood and deliberations that are being put on the floor, I want to propose that I move a motion that we stop debate and move on to the next stage. Move.
Is the motion seconded? Those who are seconding, stand up. Solomon, Sanoni, Alani, Rosie, Jane, Sylvia, Government Chief Whip, by the hollow side.
All of them support, they only wanted to talk.
Yes. Honorable members, virtually, we have 126 members. I mean, physically, 126 and 70 virtually. We have the quorum. I put the question that the Higher Education Students Financing Amendment Bill 2024 be read for the second time. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The Higher Education Students Financing Amendment Bill 2024, Bills Committee stage.
No, but this thing has been in expression. We are not seeing, I mean, has been there alone. We are not seeing it.
No, you see, the biggest problem is one. We discussed this scheme at length and made recommendations, some of which are those recommendations that are coming, that we go into the long scheme, go back to what
No, when it was a fix, the students, not schools.
Honorable members.
Clause 1.
Honorable members. First of all, I want to, it is the first time I'm seeing a minority report take the day. And I,
Your cup until you are incompetent.
now the minister is going to come and make a commitment.
Clause 1.
I put a question that clause 1 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I put a question that clause 2 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3.
I put a question that clause 3 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Honorable Goli, I'm going to send you for out. Stop making noise.
Clause 4.
I put a question that clause 4 stands part of the bill.
Madam Chair. Yeah, we are moving to dissolve the board under clause 4. I am very particular about this money being able to benefit our constituencies. So when we replace the board with the ministry, what guarantee do we have that this money will go? Because we need such a commitment. They need to guide us on how they will achieve that before we could move.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and dear colleagues, I think what he was saying, we all agreed with the majority report. But for us, would like to add.
Minority. You agree with the minority report?
We agree with the minority report. But to bring out what my brother here says, I think the word, inserting somewhere, the word district quota system has got to be inside or part of the regulations.
As a new clause.
As a new clause.
Is that agreeable with the?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I want to be on record.
Just a minute. Honorable Oguzile, a new clause. Okay.
Madam Chair, I'm not in agreement with the minority report because it has not been read on the record of Parliament. It is not on the record of Parliament, and I want to be specific on that. The minority report, he has given a summary of his own words, but it's not on the record of Parliament.
It is there, it's uploaded. It is uploaded. Go ahead.
Procedure, Chair.
Go ahead.
Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, earlier on in the morning, the Shadow Attorney General had guided us on how to proceed with this bill because we are going to, it's more of repealing them. But now if we're amending again, I'm getting now mixed up because he had guided well that if we're moving the responsibilities to the ministry, there is no more need of amending here. Those will be taken care of at appropriate time. So is it procedure right for the Honorable Ongusuli to start amending? Yet we are not amending, we are repealing. You see, this is the confusion that has been caused by this nationalization. So is he proceeding well by doing what's contrary to what I said in the morning? Honorable Omara, you're not a chairperson. Not even a minister, not even a shadow minister. So please, hold on.
The regulations. Can we bring a motion? Honorable members, Honorable Elijah raises a pertinent issue. Can we hear from the shadow through your boss?
And now you've got me off guard.
We want the quota system, but
now if we want a quota system, under which legal regime does it come? Maybe if the minister, but then if the minister takes,
equity,
if the minister comes and undertakes to bring regulations and
Equity.
Under
Constitutional.
under the Education Act,
Yes.
within a specific time frame for approval of Parliament. Because to me, that would be the win-win situation.
Yes.
That under the Education Act comes up.
When we go to develop the guidelines, we have to emphasize the issue of district quota system. The quota system has been working before, but
The money will be added.
and this one is also going to be added so that when money is appropriated, each and every district will have to benefit.
Honorable member, I move that we should, the amendment should read like this. That, okay.
Honorable Guzole, what they are going to come up with is the regulation to that effect. There is no amendment on this law.
Madam Chair,
Let's Jonah.
The commencement and it shall be dissolved and the scheme operated by the ministry under the district quota system. That is the proposal.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Jonah.
Madam Chair, now that the minister seems to be in agreement with the proposal by Honorable Lee.
You leave the Minister of Justice to speak.
In as far as a provision providing for district quota system.
Clause 4.
Yes, if you look at, there are two areas in the law. First, I want to answer the concerns. This law is both a repealing law and an amendment law. So it's doing both. It's repealing some sections, but
and
also doing
amending others.
So it is amending sections of the Principal Act. So it is possible for an amendment to come if it's acceptable by the mover. So under section 20, we have eligibility into the scheme. And in subsection 2, it says in determining the eligibility into the scheme, now the board will be replaced. The minister shall take into consideration the following. A, they have listed regional balance. We can either replace regional balance by district, or of course gender is there, others are there. Yes, so I would now want to invite the minister that maybe when we reach, if you are in agreement that the quota system has to come, then under section 20, when we reach there, we under the regional balance.
Honorable members, can we have some order? You refresh the amendment on 4.
No, when we reach at 20.
Okay, but 4 has something also.
I would like to amend that the clause 4 reads like this. On commencement of this act, the Higher Education Students Financing Board established under the Act of 224 shall be dissolved and the scheme operated by the ministry under the district quota system.
Yes.
I beg to move.
Madam Chair, my understanding of the guidance by the Shadow Attorney General. No. My understanding of the guidance of the Shadow Attorney General was that we could come up with, I would like Madam Speaker to get your attention, that we could come up with guidelines under a different legal regime
That is the Education Act, not this one.
Under, even under 20 here, what Honorable Duras just said.
In other words,
the
I'm not agreeing.
eligibility, the eligibility into the scheme, the regulations would come under this clause.
And I'm disagreeing with him. I'm taking the opinion.
But this is still provided under the Education Act, even in the Constitution on equity.
We might lose the principle, the objective of the bill for this rationalization if we go into amending this particular.
No, we can't amend it.
So let me finish. You may disagree with me, but let me finish my point. I think the Shadow Attorney General had guided very well. And what the minister should concede is the guidelines under the Education Act, but not to amend this bill for rationalization. You might be shooting your own bill if you accept amendment now.
Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, you're listening to two lawyers giving you two different opinions. What the Shadow Attorney General has provided, he has guided that we need a principal act under which we shall anchor the requirement for regulations to be made by the minister.
And this is the
what Honorable Odur has presented is that
Honorable Anne, the principal act is under section 20, where Honorable Odur has said the regulation should come from. So they are speaking the same thing. All what they are saying is coming from the principal act. And I have the principal act here.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, we are all, we don't seem to be on the same page, yet we all went to law school and probably studied the same thing. I would advise that you hear from your legal counsel, in-house legal counsel, to guide, because what Honorable Odur is providing seems to be different from what Honorable Niwagawa is providing.
Honorable.
And if we are repealing and deleting and moving the functions of HFS, the financing
Honorable Anne,
it ceases to exist.
Honorable Anne, what have you understood from the two? What have you understood from the two?
Madam, yes, information.
Madam Speaker.
I want Anne to tell me what she has understood from the two.
No, I concur with her view. That's why I want to give you.
You see, in the spirit of it, we seem to all be agreeing in agreement that the quota system, we should move the money to the quota system. But to get the minister to promise and legally to anchor the regulations.
On regulations.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that there should actually be an amendment of the Principal Act where we shall give the minister the duty.
And I want to refer you to the Principal Act, Section 20, on eligibility into the scheme. 1, the scheme is only for Ugandan students seeking financial assistance to pursue accredited courses, to study or programs of higher education in accredited institutions in a higher learning recognized by National Council of Higher Education. 2, in determining the eligibility into the scheme, the board shall take in consideration the following. First, listen. The board shall take in consideration the following. The problem, Brenda, what? The board shall consider the following. 1, regional balance. 2, gender. 3, socio-economic needs. And 4, equity. And that's where Honorable Odur said the regulations should be drawn from that. And the same thing that the shadow Attorney General was mentioning. The problem, Anna, you're only having the bill. You don't have the principal act.
Emphasize my point. My point on clause 4, 1 seeks to have the board dissolved and places responsibility with the ministry, but also ring fences the issue of the district quota as agreed to by the minister. So that's why I am moving that at the commencement of the act,
The regulation from here.
at the commencement of this act, the Higher Education Students Financing Board established under Act 2 of 2014 shall be dissolved, and the scheme shall be operated by the Ministry of Education under the district quota system. So that places the responsibility with the ministry, but ring fences the issue of quota system. Only then can we guarantee that all of us will benefit from this scheme. Otherwise, if you do not ring fence that, I'm worried we will lose the point.
Honorable
The
Odur.
regulations would be for
Honorable Odur.
finer details.
Honorable Odur.
Madam Speaker, for clarification, to consideration,
Honorable members, let's listen.
the popular view by Honorable Lee that there must be a district quota system, all the districts. That's why I went to section 20. And I said, when we reach section 20, we need then to to amend the principal law and replace regional balance by district.
Quota.
Then when we reach section 41, the minister is given powers to make regulations over several matters.
Yes.
So under 41,
yes,
we again add that the minister has powers to make regulations onto the district quota system under section 41.
Yes. That should be 20 and 41.
Yeah.
So remove it. Clause 4. Professor, please first sit. You'll give me a clarification when we reach 20. On the same clause. You.
Nice one.
Honorable members, let's hear what Professor has to say.
Madam Speaker, in the morning, we agreed that once I want the attention of the speaker. Madam Speaker, thank you for your attention. In the morning, we agreed once these bills have been accepted to and become acts, we shall need a miscellaneous legislation. Let me finish. You can disagree with me. And we shall do away with these laws.
They repeal the bills, not all.
Now, if we amend the Principal Act in a law that we are likely to do away with in miscellaneous.
This is an amendment bill, not a repeal bill, Professor.
No. I also studied law, and we are here as legislators. Listen to me. So, Madam Speaker, what will happen?
There's an order. There's an order.
Right Honourable Speaker, is it in order for the professor of political science to insist on making arguments on matters of law, but based on political science, when you have already made a ruling? Is the professor in order?
Honorable, honorable members, honorable members, if you're going to continue making a noise, I will send you out. Honorable members, those are all humanities. But not all this is being repealed. Some are amendments. It's just a matter of, and I had somebody, by the way, where is Honorable Tebaneke? He has gone to school. I had somebody say lawyers are disturbing us. That's the benefit of being land. Clause 4.
Clause 4.
I put a question that clause 4 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I put a question that clause 5 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
I put a question that clause 6 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. Ayes have it.
Clause 7.
I put a question that clause 7 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
I put a question that clause 8 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
I put a question that clause 9 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye and the contrary nay. Those in favor say aye and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I put a question that clause 10 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 11.
I put a question that clause 11.
Madam Chair, on clause 11, in the spirit of the agreement we have had, clause 11 in the principle, clause 11 seeks to amend section 5. Seeks to amend section 5 of the Principal Act. And it will give the minister powers that are listed. In part E, 1E, one of the powers is that the minister shall determine the number of eligible students to benefit from the scheme. And this is where we can first have the first opportunity to mention the district quarter. Yeah, so we could amend and the minister should follow if you have the Principal Act. E. So I want to insert in E that to determine the number of eligible students to benefit from the scheme based on the district quarter system. And then we can build.
Yes. Is that okay with the minister?
It's okay, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, you are aware that
You have just come.
Madam Chair, I've been doing work we have been in committee doing work. Madam Chair, you are aware that some districts are very big and large. And I am the one who proposed this quarter when I was youth MP here. And therefore, Madam Chair, I would like to propose amendment that instead of district quarter, let us have constituency quarter so that we as the MPs can regulate and manage.
Honorable members, constituencies are not administrative units. I put a question that clause 11 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 11 as amended.
I put a question that clause 11 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 12.
Clause 12, I put a question that clause 12 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 13.
I put a question that clause 13 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 14.
I put a question that clause 14 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. Ayes have it.
Clause 15.
I put a question that clause 15 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 16.
I put a question that clause 16 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 17.
I put a question that clause 17 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 20.
18.
Clause 18.
I put a question that clause 18 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 19.
I put a question that clause 19 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 20.
Clause 20.
Madam Chair, in clause 20, I propose an amendment to substitute for paragraph 2A in the Principal Act to read as 2A, district quarter.
Is that okay?
Madam Speaker, we agree. We substitute with district quota system.
Okay. I put a question that clause 20 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 20 as amended.
I put a question that clause 20 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 21.
I put a question that clause 21 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 22.
I put stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
I put a question that clause 23 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 24.
I put a question that clause 24 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 25.
I put a question that clause 25 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 26.
Honorable members, I get so irritated, too irritated, when we are in a very serious business and people are having cocoons, talking. Please, members, let's finish this. We have a very important bill coming up. Next.
Clause 26.
I put a question that clause 26 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 27.
I put a question that clause 27 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 28.
I put a question that clause 28 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 29.
I put a question that clause 29 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 30.
I put a question that clause 30 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 31.
I put a question that clause 31 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 32.
I put a question that clause 32 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 33.
I put a question that clause 33 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 34.
I put a question that Clause 34 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 35.
I put a question that clause 35 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 36.
I put a question that clause 36 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 37.
I put a question that clause 37 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 38.
I put a question that clause 38 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 39.
I put a question that clause 39 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 40.
Clause 40.
Okay. No, no amendment.
I put a question that clause 40 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 41.
Clause 41. I put a question that clause 41 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 42.
I put a question that clause 42 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
Title. I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for resumption of the House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that the House do resume and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto.
I put a question that the House does resume and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto. Those in favor say and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the whole House has considered the bill entitled the Higher Education Student Financing Amendment Bill 2024 and pass it with amendments. I beg to report.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report from the Committee of the whole House be adopted. I beg to move.
I put a question that the report of the Committee of the whole House be adopted by this Honorable House. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Bill's third reading. The Higher Education Students Financing Amendment Bill 2024.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Higher Education Student Financing Amendment Bill 2024 be read the third time and do pass. I beg to move.
Thank you. I put a question that the Higher Education Students Financing Amendment Bill 2024 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Higher Education Students Financing Amendment Act 2024.
Title settled and the bill passed. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I thank for your indulgence. However, I want to put on record the way we have passed this bill, I don't agree with it because the win of that day, the mover of the Madam Speaker has given a procedural matter. What did not attend the Committee of Parliament Generated Minority Report. And the records are very clear and the rules are clear. Because how did he generate a dissenting view when he never attended the committee where we sat? The Onguziri man here. So I wanted to put that on record because it can attract legal issues. Thank you.
Honorable members, Honorable Guzuli is a member of the committee. Not so. And he has a right to bring a minority report under Rule 205. He has powers and he can bring a minority report. It is just unfortunate. It is just unfortunate that the majority report has not taken the day. And it is only his minority report that has taken the day. I want to congratulate you, Honorable Guzuli.
To set the record clear, because what he said has ramifications for me. Madam Speaker, the record of attendance is a book where we sign. And if that book is changed checked when this matter was considered, I was there. I even took pictures when I was in that meeting. So yeah, because I have the evidence here. So he's just aggrieved because they have lost, but we don't need numbers on the truth. We only need to stand with the people of Uganda. I thank you, and that's what I've been pursuing.
Honorable members, can we go to the next bill?
Bill second.
Next bill. The next bill. Next
Bill
item.
second reading. The National Forestry and Tree Planting Amendment Bill 2024.
Honorable members, we are on the what? National Forestry. Honorable Minister, where is the chair? Move a motion.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the National Forest and Tree Planting Bill 2024 be read for the second time. Beg to move.
Seconded. Seconded by Isaac, Edi, Achayo, Dr. Ruyonga, Achibu, Linda, Menya, Mohammed, Moma, Alan, Agoti, Shadow Minister, Government Chief Whip, Minister of Trade, by all the ministers and the knowers. Yes, Honorable Minister, can you speak to your motion? Give us the objectives.
Right Honorable Speaker, the bill intends to dissolve the National Forest Authority.
Honorable members, I want you to listen.
And transfer its functions into the Ministry of Water and Environment. This will save the administrative costs and increase
in the operations. Right Honorable Speaker, we have challenges with disparity in the salary structures that has also affected our operations. With this bill being passed, it will help us as government. This position and the demotivated public servants who are in the ministry can respond swiftly to the calls work. Right Honorable Speaker, as you are aware that when the NFA comes into the ministry, it will enable government to fast track all interventions and particularly enable the minister to come directly and report always, as you, honorable members, this House has always demanded, and this will be much better because of the saved money which will go in the loopholes where we don't have enforcement in place enough. This will help us. So, honorable colleagues, I beg that you support the bill.
Honorable members, I don't know which language is being spoken here. Can we now hear from the chair of the committee? What is the position of the committee?
Thank you. Thank you, Right
Just
Honorable.
give us the observations and make the conclusion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. Before I go to the observations and recommendations, I beg to lay on table.
Yes, a procedure matter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Is it really in order? Yes, not, I will come. Oh, why don't you listen? Anyway, is it procedurally right? Thank you so much. For us to process government bills when the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General, they are not with us here. What if now they write to the President and advise that what we have done here is not right, and then the bills are sent back? Kindly guide Madam Speaker.
We have a number of land brains here. But what Honorable Enos is raising is pertinent. It is not correct. We have Attorney General, we have a Minister of Constitutional Affairs, we have Deputy Attorney General, but they are not here to support us. Attorney General is out of the country to defend some position of the country. That one he got permission from me. And the Deputy Attorney General, while he was here, we were called for a meeting, including me. And I said, for me, I'm still here, you can go. So, but next time, we will need to have one of them in the house. Please. But we have the shadow.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for your guidance to the House. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to lay on table a copy of the report of the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources on the National Forestry and Tree Planting Amendment Bill 2024 and the accompanying minutes of the proceedings. Right, Speaker, allow me also today, it is addressed to you and copied to me. And since it touches on this matter, I felt I need to bring it to the attention of this House.
You read your report. How you smuggle my letter out? Because I know anyway, it stays in the border.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
I will
with the report.
proceed. Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, as you are all aware, the National Forest and Tree Planting Amendment Bill was read for the first time on the 9th of April 2024 and referred to the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources for scrutiny. Scrutinized the bill in accordance with Rule 189, Sub-Rule C, and now we report. The background of the bill is that government has over time realized a proliferation of government agencies through acts of parliament. This proliferation of agencies has led to overlap in mandates and unserved costs. But also recognizing that in agencies,
There's
they
the
are better
honorable
paid.
minister hang on the front bench. Come and sit near here. Come. Is it part of the report?
Right, Honorable Speaker, it is only courteous that we are courteous to each other. Right, Honorable Speaker, as I want to state very, very clearly that the object of this bill is to dissolve the NFA, and I want to underscore that word dissolve the NFA and transfer its functions into the ministry responsible for environment and rationalization of government agencies. Right, Honorable Speaker, allow me to underscore, before I go to findings, one core function of the NFA, namely to develop and manage all central forest reserves. And I want to state clearly that NFA has been managing only central forest reserves as opposed to district forest reserves that fall under the purview of the Ministry of Water and Environment. Now, allow me to go to our committee analysis, observations, and recommendations. This part of the report examines the proposed clauses in each part of the bill, their constitutionality and relevance in light of existing laws and policy on rationalization and the mischief they intended to cure. The examination is structured around thematic areas outlined in the bill. And one thematic area is the alleged overlap in mandate between NFA mandate and those of the district forestry services. The committee noted that in 1998, government took a decision to transform the forestry department into two institutions, that is National Forestry Authority and the District Forestry Services, with the aim of strengthening, streamlining, and increasing efficiency in the management of forests in the country. The committee observed that whereas the mandate of NFA is to manage the 506 central forest reserves, covering an area of 1.265 million hectares, which accounts for only 26% of the total forest cover in Uganda, that of the district forest services under the purview of the ministry is to manage 196 local forest reserves covering 5,000 hectares, that is only a paltry 0.02% of the total forest cover, and providing forestry extension services and oversight on 48% of forestry cover existing in private land. So you find that most of the forests are actually private land, private forests rather. These two mandates do not overlap at implementation, and therefore there was no evidence adduced to show that the ministry responsible for the environment shall satisfactorily implement the mandate of NFA upon rationalization. The committee noted that most of the district forest reserves that were under the purview of the Ministry of Water and Environment are no longer in existence, whereas the central forest reserves under the National Forest Authority are in existence across the country, although some have been encroached upon. 2, financial sustainability vis-a-vis the need to relieve government of financial drain. The committee noted that NFA has positioned itself to mobilize its own resources for forestry management and with minimal support from government. The institution can be self-sustaining in the medium term. The institution's non-tax revenue has been increasing over the years, as you can see in the narrative here, but also in the next table, moving from 9.521 in 2019, that is 9.521 billion, to 10.411 billion in 2019-2020, to 9.271 in 2020-2021, to 12.106 billion in 2021-2022, to 14.018 billions in 2022-2023. That shows an upward trend, and it shows that NFA, once strengthened, will be able to generate more revenue for the country. The committee therefore noted that with the improved institutional image, ability to attract funding from development partners, the institution can generate its own NTR to be self-sustaining in the near future. The committee noted the following are some of the strategies NFA has developed to increase its NTR. 1, NFA intends to invest more in forest plantations. 2, NFA intends to start investment in ecotourism. 3, NFA intends to support and manage tree farmers and planters in central forest reserves. 4, NFA intends to improve on its ability to attract external funding from development partners. The next table shows you the kind of relationship that NFA has established with those international agencies that are donating. And I want to quickly remind ourselves that some of these donors are very hesitant to give money directly to government, but they would prefer to give an agency established like this one. Now, finally, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, allow me to tackle just why my committee felt that NFA must not be mainstreamed or dissolved as proposed by the bill. And the first point is NFA's uniqueness in addressing climate change and its impact. The committee noted that the world is currently grappling with the challenges posed by climate change. It is a known fact that one of the most effective ways of removing carbon from the atmosphere is through afforestation, reforestation, and improving forest management and conservation. Many countries are strengthening forestry management, autonomous institutions such as the NFA. In the East African region, Uganda was the first to establish a forestry authority. Kenya and Tanzania made several benchmarking visits to Uganda and established their own same autonomous forestry service agencies in 2007 and 2011, respectively. The committee noted that the world takes steps to trade in carbon under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and the Paris Agreement. Uganda has also, through NFA, developed capacity to undertake monitoring, reporting, and verification of carbon, and Uganda's emissions are projected to reach 143 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions from 115 metric tons in 2020 and 236.4 metric tons by 2050 if nothing is done. That is, if we just leave business as usual, that is going to be the upward trend of carbon dioxide emission. And all of us in the most recent past, you saw the enormous effects of carbon dioxide emission into our environment, contributing to climate change. To mitigate the emissions, NFA intends to implement mitigation actions to reduce emissions. When all the planned and intended mitigation actions have been implemented, Uganda's emission will begin to reduce, and it will reduce by 24.2% in 2030. And this reduction will come from forestry. NFA has lined up mitigation actions to reduce emissions by 2030 to 108 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions. And these are the mitigation actions that they have already lined up. Climate smart agriculture, sustainable fuel wood and commercial charcoal production, large-scale commercial timber plantations, restoration of natural forests in the landscape. Now, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, in the morning when I presented on metrology, I was charged with a responsibility of making a cost-benefit analysis quantitatively. Although at that time, I made a qualitative analysis. Now I give him a quantitative cost-benefit analysis of the decision of mainstreaming NFA. The committee noted that there may not necessarily be significant economic gains in the short and medium term arising out of mainstreaming NFA into the ministry. That whereas mainstreaming NFA will eliminate the board of directors costs and some members of senior management, these costs are relatively very small in comparison to the overall cost of sustainably managing and developing developing central forest reserves. There will also be severance costs for the ex-staff, hence no substantial cost saving. Further to this, cost-benefit analysis was done before government enhanced the salaries of scientists. The committee noted that main higher under the ministry because over 80% of the NFA staff are scientists and are currently earning salaries under the scientist scale. The committee therefore observed that the current staffing level of 364 contract personnel, the annual wage bill of 8.264 billion, compared to what NFA is doing is not so significant. The board and the committee's annual budget is only a paltry 362 million Ugandan shillings. The total annual budget for remuneration of contract staff and board of directors is only 8.626 billion. If the current staff are paid under the salary scale for scientists, all foresters, of course, are scientists, the expected wage will be 11.181 when NFA mandate is taken to the ministry. So it will be moving up 11.18 from 8.6. This excludes the salary of the 9 scientist staff. The total number of current staff in approved positions is 364 with a total annual wage bill of 8.264 billion. The other point why my committee recommends for NFA to stay is the impact of mainstreaming on forestry country. As I said, the district forest covers that are under the ministry are no more. Most of you may realize that maybe when you were growing up, you had forests within your localities. These are no more. Now, the committee noted that the mainstreaming and the transitional period,
Honorable members, listen to the report and you make a decision based on what you're hearing and what you see out there.
Thank you, Right Honorable, for your guidance. The committee noted that the mainstreaming and the transitional period they are under is likely to pose a threat to forestry cover in this country, which NFA has tried to keep at bay over the years. Right Honorable Speaker, our greatest worry is that the ministry that has failed to protect this.
Honorable members, listen.
How will it come now to protect the Central Forest Reserves that are under NFA? It will result in increased deforestation if we mainstream NFA to the ministry and forest degradation. NFA has managed to keep at bay the numerous land grabbers who, in a number of instances, apply for court injunctions to enable them take over forest reserves for personal gains.
No, I'm telling you.
Right Honorable Speaker, may I let the House know that about 120 illegal titles created in forest reserves were cancelled in 2019. And the process to cancel additional illegal titles in the Central Forest Reserves is ongoing. There is a high risk that this process will be jeopardized with mainstreaming the authority to the ministry without a clear mechanism of protecting Central Forest Reserves. I submit. 3, reduced investment in plantation development. There is a general feeling of uncertainty among the commercial tree farmers. To the ministry may expose their plantations to risk of land grabbers, encroachment, and theft of the assets as a result of reduced protection. These investors may therefore lose confidence in investment in the investment climate, leading to reduction in forest cover. NFA is still resolving the many cases of land grabbing in the Central Forest Reserves. In 2017, government lifted the ban on licensing new investment in Central Forest Reserves, and NFA made new offers for over 40,000 hectares. The authority is still sorting out the encroachment problem and licensing new investments. Sensitization of encroachers and local leaders has been done in many areas, and this process is ongoing. 4, loss of employment opportunities. NFA currently employs 364 who are paid salaries through the government payroll. In addition, NFA has engaged services of about 400 patrolmen from the communities neighboring the Central Forest Reserve, patrol allowances. And I want to say that most of the work of NFA, you find that they do them in very odd hours. Even at night, they capture people who are encroaching on forests. We don't have there is likelihood that some of this staff,
Honorable members, honorable members,
They will die with Zoka.
can you leave the chair to finish? You're finished. Leave the chair to finish and you make a decision.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for guiding the House. As I come to the end, I was saying that there is a likelihood that some of the people in this forest will lose employment with this will result in loss of livelihood and may cause social disruptions because they are not a small number. My committee therefore recommends as follows: that the National Forest Authority be retained as a semi-autonomous entity into the ministry responsible as proposed in the bill. Two, that the ministry responsible for environment should stick to its core mandate of policy formulation, establishment of standards, resource mobilization, offering support supervision, and to allow NFA to do its mandate of managing and conserving forest cover in the country. Three, that government should empower NFA to fully execute its mandate to sustainably manage central forest reserves and to enable it oversee over 150,000 hectares of private forests and also spearhead the recovery of the country's forest cover. It has increased since 2015. And four, that the National Forestry and Tree Planting Act be amended to mandate the NFA to manage the district forest reserves, if at all there are any still left. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, to inform the House that the committee recognizes the NTR NFA is generating currently and the potential of the National Forest Authority to generate even more revenue for the country, as well as its immense contributions of climate change. The committee is therefore constrained to agree with the principles of rationalizing NFA to the ministry as proposed in the bill. Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honorable members. I get scared when people stand. They can jump on me. You've heard the report. You know the forests that we are talking about. You know what is around. And I am going to give a limited debate. And in that limited debate, I will first want to know which people are in for rationalization, for NFA. Who are those who want NFA to be abolished? Abolishing the NFA to rationalize. Okay, honorable members, which members are in for mainstreaming, taking NFA from to a department of water? Who are those who want NFA to be taken away and put into the ministry? Honorable members. Honorable members, I want you to listen. The motion that is here is about mainstreaming NFA. And in the you are going to take NFA to the Ministry of Environment to be a department. To be a department. Is the question understood? Who are those who want it to go into the ministry? Honorable members, you listen. All I want is your hand.
Procedure, Madam Speaker.
And I want a hand, honorable members. You sit.
Why no? There are no procedure.
Honorable members, I only want your hand up.
No,
I don't want your body up, I want your hand up. You want me to repeat it?
With procedure. We are already matching.
And honorable members, honorable members, listen. Honorable members, if you are an ex-officials, don't put up your hands. Okay. Honorable members.
Order.
Let me first get the meaning. What's the question? I also want my position. I also want money. I'm not sorry. Can you allow Lani to go? Honorable members, when you continue making noise, now who are those who want to maintain the National Forest Authority? Yes. Now, let's go into a debate. Let's go into a debate. And the question that I will put will take the day. I start with what? Let's now go into debate. Honorable Edie, you want me to declare the results?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members have the microphone. Right Honorable Speaker, when rationalization was tabled in this parliament, there are agencies that we can touch and others not. And I'm not surprised. The Honorable Minister, Betty, is the one tabling a bill here. Protested in the country
to protect the forests. The one who once was nicknamed Mama Mavira. Right Honorable Speaker, in the Supreme, the government that I support, if we are talking about environment, the Honorable Minister talked about, the chairperson has talked about the government forests. Where are they? If you don't talk about NFA. Tomorrow when national roads come here, they will tell you that there are roads that belong to government and others belong to UNULA. Right, Honorable Speaker, allow me to state this, honorable members. We don't want to be educated on the importance of forests. The National Forest Authority, with all its mandate that was given by this honorable house, we have not been told where it has failed. Instead, me, I represent a constituency that has forests. But the controversies that we have in my district is a situation where the very government is issuing land titles in the forests. So now if you let these forests go in the same hands, are we